paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
Well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Brainstorm Brewery. We are here to celebrate the end of 2022 with you. Bring in magic for 2023. We hope you had great holidays. We got the full crew here tonight. I'm Corbin Hostler, joined by Douglas DJ Johnson. We've got Cass here as well. And you can see pouring a beer there. We've got Jason Alt. What's
Humbug.
up, everybody? Humbug. Well, I didn't get the memo on the Santa hats for everyone watching on YouTube. I'll say that.
I couldn't find it last week.
I thought this was a secular podcast. If I had known we could wear religious garb, I would have brought something for Hanukkah.
A pagan podcast, actually. I learned a lot this year about all the Christmas traditions that were, in fact, non-Christian things.
If you had been an edgy atheist in high school, you would have figured this out then.
I'm sure that's correct, yes.
You went to a Catholic school, it's like, you type the word knowledge into the Google search and they had it blocked.
I think I've almost reached the point of Facebook not reminding me anymore about the edgy shit I said 12 years ago.
Oh,
There was
no.
like a 3-year streak where I was like, I said delete, nope.
Well, for me, it's like 16 years ago, Facebook said, hey, what's on your mind? Jason is ... And I would type in Jason is blah, blah, blah. And so now all my statuses look like I don't know how to use it. They look like my grandfather using Facebook now. Like,
You guys didn't
Grandpa's
delete
having
your
a snack.
Facebooks?
what's that?
You guys didn't delete your Facebook 6 years ago?
Messages
restart
still
them?
relevant to the...
Delete your Facebook, hit the gym.
I use it.
and-
I use it for
I
keeping in touch
remade
with
it
comedy people and
afterwards.
keeping in touch with selling groups.
It is good for that. A lot of magic business.
My mother gets to see baby pictures. It's fine. You got to communicate with boomers sometimes.
Listen.
Do you?
Yeah.
Listen, speaking of communicating with boomers, I'll address the resident boomer. Hey, Jason, pop quiz, hotshot. How many Magic the Gathering releases were there in the calendar year?
12.
Define what a release is.
The launch of
Are
a
secret
lot of
layers
product.
counted individually?
Yeah, like, what is a secret layer release?
So secret
54.
layers are
That doesn't
counted individually.
Feel
So
like it
that's
should
like
count.
12
This is-
right there.
That's so just like pumping the numbers to make this a gotcha question. Like,
It's
I'll
not
say
a gotcha
54.
question.
So if you're
Wait,
yeah.
Is it Price is Right rules?
Let's just see. No, not Price is Right rules.
this is such a clickbait.
DJ, what did you say?
I'm gonna say
DJ's complaining about the premise of the question.
80. I'm gonna say
I'm assuming each secret layer is a unique release.
That's correct.
So I'm saying 80 because it's like that's not a correct.
I
way
think
to
it was
form the
probably
question, but-
60. It feels
It is. It's a factual. Each one of those is a release, man. You don't have to like it, but it is.
Okay, I'm saying 60.
Okay, we've got a 60 on board. We got 80. Cass, what was your number?
Jason, you said 60, correct?
Yeah, do you want 61 or 81?
I want 59.
59.
Yeah.
So I get
because
everything
it's-
beneath.
Well, you take the under. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, sweet summer children.
You didn't total it up, but you didn't have the answer ready to go?
Oh, I do, Jason.
Is it over
It's a
100?
3-digit number for sure.
Oh, I was
Hey.
asking rhetorically.
There were 70 secret layers alone.
Jesus.
Great googly and moogly.
You then have all your mainline sets.
the number of
which were
times
4?
the number of times this has been brought up on the cast of like, so many sets, pearls clutching, like, oh my god, just get over it. That's the world we live in now. Shut up, Corbin. This is a stupid bit.
I don't think it's stupid at all. This is
You're stupid. Yeah, because nothing happens for you. A new set
What do you
comes out
mean
and you're like,
nothing
oh,
happens
that's
for me? This
rad.
is
Then you go
literally my
buy
entire
fucking
job.
someone's collection and pick it with a robot.
You all are so mad you got the number wrong. There was
Obviously, I'm mad I
Kamigawa,
got the number wrong.
Neon Dynasty. There was Streets of New Capenna. There was Dominaria United. There was Brothers War. There was Double Masters. There was...
Baldur's Gate?
How was this year?
Mm-hmm.
Warhammer.
My guess
Yep.
was based on assuming
All those
50
Commander
Secret Layers bidding on
releases.
their products.
And I didn't even count the
Sure.
Commander. Like, if you count the Commander releases, yes, you're going to hit triple digits.
Well,
Yeah,
were there,
but,
were there
like-
12? Were there 12 astrology
Well,
secret
if you
layers this
count
year?
every card in a set, there were over 30,000.
Well, listen, that's my point, Jason, that the Secret Layers alone were 70. So even if you don't even talk about Commander release, you just break it down into, say, booster boxes and say you're a collector or whatever, right?
Didn't they say 2022 had 25% of all the legendary creatures ever?
Something like that.
I think it was more than
we
25%.
tweeted that
MTG
for-
DS, MTG
we tweeted
underscore
that
DS
from EDA Trek a
on-
while
on
back.
Twitter,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't
Check
remember
out
the
his
exact
stuff on
percentage,
EDA
but-
Trek too. He's a good Twitter follow. He's always posting stuff that's really interesting.
Lots of great information.
Yeah, well, he's the one that did the infographics for the salt score. You can check that out on EDA Trek.
He's also the one that made the Oreo thread that like is completely correct and like makes this entire bit irrelevant, right? Like
There are no irrelevant bits, DJ. Only irrelevant haters.
Yeah, but you're a guy who buys Oreos sometime, telling the guy who stocks the fucking shelves not to worry about more releases.
I'm so confused about the analogy. Are they double stuff?
DJ's the guy who stocks the shelves.
yes.
Are they Christmas? Like, are they the Christmas ones or just like?
They're the mint ones.
I
No,
am
you're the
a-
cashier. You don't stock the shelves. I stock the shelves. You're the cashier.
The mint ones are actually pretty good if you get the thin versions, not the full-size ones. The thin ones, they're kind of good if they're mint.
Lost in
Thin
the
Oreos
sauce.
are
That's nice.
suspicious.
They're only
Yeah,
good
they're
if
like
the
they're
mint
only
ones.
100 calories. You remember Olestra? I think anybody who's buying thin Oreos
I think yeah,
is not going to tell anybody that they shit their pants. So I think that's the one Olestra product they're still
Look,
using.
if you're eating
They're a
Oreos,
texture thing.
if you're eating Oreos, there's so many calories anyway. Go for it. Get the double stuff. Look.
It's not about the calories, man. It's about the texture. The thin ones have a nice snap on them when you just... It's pleasant.
All right.
What are you
Like a
eating them like a
Hydrox?
doubloon, like a pirate? Like
Hydrox
Yeah.
cookies are better than
You don't
Oreos.
just say- you
doubloon
don't just, like,
discourse.
pop
Here we
them,
go.
like-
Doubloon discourse.
Even if you pop them in your
Alert,
mouth, they still have a nice
everybody.
crunch when you bite on. You get like one on each side. You get like each corner on the sides of your mouth, and you bite down. You push it with your tongue. It's a textural dream.
Can't you get that same by like twisting the cookie though? And like just eating the half of the cookie?
DJ's too straight edge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
You know what
guess,
rec-
man.
What
You can't do
replicates
it.
the ketamine Oreo experience? Just twisted it, and then saying it's gonna come down the chimney.
You know what's
And bring
exactly
your dad back
like
from the bar.
you know what's exactly like cocaine is drinking 4 Diet Cokes at once. It's the same thing. I swear to God.
I think we've
I've never drank 4 Diet Cokes and tried to start a small business with my friend Rob. Okay,
we've just started off the rails here tonight. I see.
they're not the same thing.
I am a zero sugar Sprite drinker.
Free diet sodas are an affront to God. On the horseshoe theory of valid consumption, they are firmly at the bottom.
Yeah, DJ, that's rough.
You know who else drinks
He's the only
diet
person
caffeine-free
drinking
Cokes?
gold cans of caffeine-free
I
Diet
don't
Coke.
love Coke like either way. I'm much more of like a Mountain Dew like lemon lime flavor person.
DJ's
Coke's
a
like
diet
fine.
right kind of guy.
A what?
Diet right.
You RC Cola mother.
Mount Thunder drinker over here.
Thunder.
What is this? This is like an ancient sort of like. Is this like Vault or like just like
It's
the?
me,
We're all on
Dr.
the same page.
Sam.
Garbage
Here to
from the
take
90s
you
I've
through
ever
a
heard
world of
Look.
discount cola. First
We're-
stop, it's Fago Town.
DJ only drinks Diet Squirt.
Jason, do I have to flick a nickel towards like the guy behind the bar to get this? What is this?
Your mom is so skinny she diet squirt.
Your finest seltzer water, sir.
Somebody punches the jukebox.
You just have
I don't
like
want to do a magic podcast.
You want to do a Mountain Dew podcast? And
can we just do like a food review podcast this
It's
week?
Monday, December 26th, and my kids are gone. Why am I doing my job? Can't I just be an irresponsible piece of shit?
so it turns out 2022 was a pretty busy. What were the high and the low points
Can
for the
we?
three of you? We know Jason has a few low points, and he's going to say everything.
Can we not do this format of episode?
What you dislike the questions? You
okay,
offer something better.
We did the pre-Christmas episode, then we
Arguing
did
with the
holiday bonus,
producers,
and now
the-
it's like the 2022 wrap-up. Can we?
Jason misses the pre-show meeting every week where we get together with the producers and put the questions down on the teleprompter so that everyone knows what's coming. And then Jason shows up drinking to the episode, having missed the pre-show meeting,
Humbug.
and
I'm
he
the
says
talent.
humbug.
I'm the talent. I don't come to pre-show meetings, okay?
That's some
I'll
riot.
do it on
Sorry,
the night.
sweetie, but you're not the talent.
I'll do it on the night.
You're not the funniest, and you're not the most knowledgeable.
Whew.
I'm both.
Well, I was a fun.
That's the first time you've ever made me laugh. Saying
I'm
you
a
were funny.
comedian's comedian.
Your favorite comedian's favorite comedian?
I'm a little too esoteric for open mics. They couldn't handle me.
Jason, did you watch Gareth Reynolds' stand-up hour?
Yes.
It's kind of, I didn't like it.
He's not a very good stand-up.
No.
He
But what
got
about
an hour because he
Magic?
has a popular podcast.
But what about your Magic 2022 release?
Like
Come
his
on.
improv and crowd
Give me-
work
now,
felt
come
really good.
on.
Baldur's Gate. Listen, okay, if we're talking about good stuff that happened Magic-wise this year, Baldur's Gate and 40K were great. They did everything that we wanted them to do. Baldur's
Wait.
Gate was legit a very good set. It's so dense that we haven't even scratched the surface of like
Mhm.
breaking some of those cards.
When did you stop
it's-
hating 40K and start liking the set?
I thought it was like dumb that we went full shark jump, but now that like that's our reality, 40K has been good for recruiting 40K players who
Your
have
Also-
more money than Magic players.
your complaint was that the cards were super overpowered at the time.
They are. They are.
They're sweet
to
as
be
hell.
fair.
They're all mechanically super
But if
interesting,
you play
though.
the decks against each other, it's going to have consequences for EDH. But like, if the fact that 40K exists, it was executed poorly, but the fact that it was executed at all was a win for Magic.
I strongly disagree.
Mm-mm.
About what?
About how like the cards are going to have
The
consequences.
40K
that mean?
decks
What does
are
consequences
triumphs
mean?
of design. They are triumphs of design.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're good and played against each other, they're fine.
What does
No, they're good at-
consequences mean? Like, this set's been out for, what, 5 months? The cards haven't destroyed your format.
Nobody
I
has
take
them.
Santa.
Nothing stays in people's minds long enough to ruin EDH because like they just blow past it because there's another product.
Yup.
I don't know how to
There's gotta
tell
be
you
stuff
this,
that we've missed.
but if Underworld Breach didn't ruin the format, like, none of the cards in 40K are going to.
Yeah, I guess they just I don't
Like,
know,
The
they're
40K
All the cards in the
all
deck are
just
strong EDH cards. They're not, like, gonna break the format. Like you said, no one cares enough to break the format.
And
Like-
you have such a narrow idea of what fun is defined as in this format.
Which is the
I have a
problem
very
with
broad
Commander
idea.
as a
It's just
whole, but, like...
don't annoy me. Right? Anything that doesn't annoy me is fun, and everything that annoys
Your
me.
list
is
of things that
not fun.
annoy you is bigger than the naughty list.
That's
Like,
what I'm
is it-
saying. That's why I want to write this
Or
article.
do I like people, or do I not like?
Can't
people
play
that make the game
Rast.
take longer?
Can't play Bajuka Bog. Can't play.
I don't give a
Cyclonic
fuck
Rift,
about Bajuka
Can't play
Bog.
Doomblade.
It's like when you went to the Modo, like, free play lobbies in 2010, there'd be the person in there with, like, the message being like, no counter spells, no
This
mass
is what
land
I'm saying.
destruction, no removal.
Big game hunter. No rush 20.
You're a
I'm
fucking
lit-
snowflake.
And then you check the list an hour later, and there's 4 more things added to it.
Yep.
They lost
yep.
to, like, elves, like, no
combo.
elves.
No infinites.
If I
Yeah, no,
complained 10 times, it was about like people playing a bunch of Rast and the game taking too long 10 times. But you're like, no, I can't just say that you complained about one thing that bothers you 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pretend you said 10 different things. And I can make up 10 different things that somebody was complaining could say. I did a rhetoric.
Yeah, but I
Congrats,
did
you
it
guys,
first.
You did it.
I did it first. Most importantly.
I don't like when people play stuff that makes the game take longer. I
agree.
would like people
No
to
control,
do stupid
no-
shit.
No,
and-
You know-
no Doomblade.
The thing about,
Dude,
the thing about
come
Magic
the fuck
players...
on. You're going from a play group.
You see? He's
I
gonna
had
get
a-
mad if you Doomblade
That
his
band
creature.
Skullstorm is going to accuse
I-
me of not liking Doomblade. Get the fuck out of here.
He's
I had a
gonna-
conversation-
He's gonna rage if you Doomblade him.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine a couple years ago about Commander deck building theory, and people are always like, well, you know, you play all the fast mana, you play all the wheels, you're going to win all the games. You win way more games of Commander just like playing a 2-drop, a 3-drop, a 4-drop, a 5-drop, and a 6-drop. Nothing that Commander players think is broken is actually broken.
You win more games by missing a land drop and everybody leaves you alone. And then your hand
Strongly
plays.
disagree. If you just play a powerful thing every turn of the game, you just are going to win the game. More often than not. because everyone else is just like, I'm going to play a Chrome Mox so that I can play my commander to draw 2 additional cards early, and you're just like attacking them with an 8/8.
The beauty of all of this conversation is that there's just like 4 different, like, where there's such different
No, you asked
variations
me, you
of
asked me a
commander.
very specific question. DJ had to be to try to make me look bad on the
If
podcast.
you look at
And
my,
we got derailed and talked about something that none of us really wanted to talk about for like way longer because I got 2 sentences into my what I liked about 2022. But hey,
true.
40K went from the worst set ever to the best set ever to wait, no,
I didn't
maybe
say the-
not.
God,
He
you
never
straw man like
said-
such a piece.
He never said anything.
You were like Corbin.
You had very, very
You
negative
just- your
strong
silence
feelings
on
about
Waffles is
40K.
deafening me
You had
so
very,
bad.
very, very, very negative feelings about 40K when it came out.
Your silence on Waffles is deafening me so bad.
That's not what happened.
Hey, was 40K a good release? Well, I bought it for my brother-in-law, and he was really into it, and he's playing Magic now.
You thought
that
these
was
cards
good.
were going to
You said the cards were too powerful, and now
You
you're
did
buying
say
it
the
as
cards
a
were too
gift?
powerful.
That is objectively
Hypocrite
true.
much!
Like, there's a recording of you saying these cards are way too powerful and they're all busted and ridiculous. There's,
Yes.
like, audio recordings of that, dog.
Well, what
Yeah,
he's
when they
saying
had like
is he got
10 of them
over
spoiled.
it.
The 10 they spoiled were up cards.
He got over it, is I think what we're hearing.
No, I'm a hypocrite
can't
for
change
changing
his
my
mind
mind when
about
they
something.
like released
Yeah.
the
That's not
set.
how this works.
Lock it in. Have some fucking principles.
That's how
Jesus
podcasts
Christ.
work. When one thing you cannot call Jason is Mr. Consistency. You take a position, you live with that position for years. to come.
Forever.
You're never allowed to have nuanced thoughts.
You know what? 40K sucked my and I hate my brother-in-law, and he's gonna ruin Commander Night. And I said 40K was when the first 10 cards they released were like 5-mana Wraths, and I was like, oh, this set.
Woo!
But then all
I
the
gotta
cards
say,
are out now, and I can't change my mind because I'm a flip-flopper like John Kerry if I do that. So you know what? 40K suck my never do it again.
There you
I'm
go.
out!
There you go. That's it.
There you go.
That's exactly it. That was the.
We did a discourse, guys.
All right, I'm looking at 2022, and I have to say, I could not name more than maybe 5 of the secret layers. I think some of them were probably pretty cool, but there's such a delay between when they announced 12 of them and when they released them that it definitely makes it pretty difficult to.
They've sped up
to
a
keep
lot
up.
recently.
There were
They what?
12 months between ordering and receiving the coin flip deck, and that's for the people
Yeah.
that have received them because a lot of people haven't.
But the December
Coin flip
ones are
deck-
already shipping.
Yeah, they have sped up a lot on the recent secret layers. Of course, the coin flip deck is excluded from that.
Yeah.
But from the past couple batches, people have been getting cards within weeks of paying for them.
Well, hopefully, I hear that they cleared the ship out of the one ship that was stopping all world commerce out of the canal or whatever, and things work again now. So maybe that'll turn it around a little fast. I feel like, look, if 70 was the bar for 2022, do you think we clear that for 2023?
Sure.
Secret layer releases?
Probably.
I don't know.
I will be worried about the product deluge when Magic cards. What's the quote? Magic cards will be worth more than oil or something like that. Like, when I stop selling Magic cards, I'll be worried.
That is I guess you would need to be
That's
worried
the Earth's
also.
climate change plan. When the climate changes and everybody dies, then we'll worry.
It seems like you would. The other issue that might be a problem, and you can elaborate on if it is if so many printings and everything devalues cards so much that you just have smaller margins or basically less expensive cards or cards in the sweet spot.
I didn't have great margins before 2022, but they evaporated this year.
So
It does seem
like
to have,
the product deluge matters from a industry standpoint when it gets to the point of like retail stores like Card Kingdom and TCG and Star City not agreeing on cataloging. That is the main issue that I don't think anybody else has actually like thought of or addressed from an industry standpoint. Like when you type in Elish Norn, whatever her name is, parentheses into TCG Player, and 15 listings come up on the drop down box, but you can't actually even see all of them. That is a potential problem, but that's not an issue that Elish Norn has 10 printings. That's an issue of like TCG Player being a technology company.
Right.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
mean,
think the margins are an issue.
No, absolutely not. Because Magic players are still like understanding of like how this industry works, and they know that they're going to take a loss on their cards when they sell cards.
the value on things like Jason, how would you? I know
buying collections has been good all year, but like
you're someone who's
stuff
done
has been
collector boxes
because I still have to stock a case, and I still have to like buy the new stuff.
Hey,
And just I bought so many collector boxes where I just like ate on all of them. Like the only money I made on collector boxes were the ones I didn't open. I made a load of money just not opening Commander Legends.
I don't think buying boxes at distributor prices and cracking them and filling display cases has been a profitable endeavor since like 2012.
Yeah,
I
but
think
it's a thing I
Kaladesh
have to
was the last
do,
that it was
though.
good for.
Yeah, it's but
It's not a thing you have to do. Like, you can just choose not to stock those singles.
Yeah.
Like, you
Okay.
when you have a store, you get to pick your customers, and like, if my customers are the kind of people who need me to have 50 copies of X standard rare on day one, like, I'll just get different customers. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people who are just excited to buy collector boxes, and they'll sell me their Elishnorn for 70% TCG low,
Yep.
and I'll sell it to another customer for 100% TCG low. Like, there are so many people who play Magic, and if you are the kind of person who wants to have the standard cards on day one, like, get them overnighted to you from SCG or something.
Well, and that's going to become more relevant because they are making a change where cards are going to be legal weekend of the pre-release. Talking about changes, things to look forward to in 2023. That's going to be an interesting one.
Before we go into that, I had one more point on the topic of like.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So if you look at MTG stocks, which this podcast may or may not be sponsored by, almost all of the cards that have been on the interest for the past several months, it's something I've noticed when looking for picks of the week, is traditionally when I look for a pick of the week, I want to look for a cheaper card that is like, oh, this has a chance to triple or quadruple or whatever. Most of the cards on the interest for MTG stocks are just like $10 cards minimum nowadays. Like, cards are just expensive, and it doesn't matter what the variant is. It doesn't matter like what the set is. Like, cards that are moving are just expensive. And Wizards is trying to reprint as fast as they can for a lot of these, but not all of them. But like, when you're like, oh, if they print all these cards to dust, like, they're going to be worthless. I think there's a lot of Magic cards out there that continue to sell that are just worth a lot of money.
Well, do you think there's anything to, at some point, for say the average Magic player, if there's so many cards and so many different products, and you want to then build a deck, it is. I mean, obviously, you can't just go buy a box. You can't. Well, the thing is, listen, you can't just go buy a box or two of the new set at the LGS and then build some decks. Yeah, exactly. You can buy a precon, but in a lot of cases, people are just going to buy the singles they want, which is then, I think that just almost there's so many releases and different avenues for those releases that there's no one-stop shop except for an online store. Essentially for customers, which is also going to drive up prices.
I also think
that it is what it is. Yeah,
I think people also underestimate, or I guess they overestimate, how price sensitive the average customer who engages with Magic singles is.
Yup, that's something I had to change my entire viewpoint on, like, leveling up in this industry. Is like, I was so worried about like, oh man, this person's not going to buy the card if I price it at 4 instead of 5. No, they'll buy it.
Yeah, they'll just buy it. Like, it's a lot of work to find another place to buy it.
If they like you, they'll buy it.
Yeah. You. Even if they don't like you, they'll just buy it because they're lazy.
And to some extent, if somebody is that price sensitive, that is a customer you may not want to have.
Right.
That
I was buying
of course, a very good.
I was buying a playset of I think Ragavans recently, and I had the option of buying 4 of them from 4 different sellers for like $60 a piece or something. Or I could just buy all 4 of them from the same seller for $62 a piece and just only open one envelope. And I was like, that sounds easier. I do less clicks and I open one envelope. And I just did it because I'm a lazy piece of shit. And like, someone made an extra $8 because I was a lazy piece of shit. And that's fine. That's the whole industry.
That's the direct premium, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
What is it? A good example of this is Ravenous Baboons currently has one completed sale on TCG Player for $18 for an LP copy.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Because somebody clicked a checkbox that says direct filter, and they maybe MTG Goldfish optimized their card or something, or they exported a list that they built on Moxfield, and they just clicked a few times, saw a 3-digit number in the cart, and went, okay, that's my Christmas gift card from the wife.
Yep.
Click.
Another great example is Secret Lair or the Dragon, I think, just the Dragon. Cards like $80, $85. There's like a sale or two at 140. Like direct low on that card is 140.
Yep.
Like people are just gonna click on the things and buy them. They're not gonna think about it too much, especially when they're buying cards that are already that expensive.
Well, and that raises an interesting point as to how much, the optimization of variants coming into play as to whatever pulls up first on TCG player, right? Because, given what you all are talking about, there's 4 or 5 different versions of a card. Prices don't necessarily always move perfectly with each other.
Yeah, I mean, search engine optimization stuff has been a thing for as long as we've had the internet, and I think it's like we're really starting to see it with Magic stuff. Like, part of the reason why, non-foil versions, like non-borderless versions of cards tend to be worth more than even the foils or even sometimes the borderless versions because they're in card optimizers. They're the first version they're defaults to.
Yeah, that's huge. All right. Well, speaking of huge, that would be the gains I posted this year. The lead I have for the calendar year 2022 in what is, of course, the best MTG Finance segment game you have ever come across. It's time for Breaking Bulk.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
Did you like that one? I'm leveling up the intros here as we go.
I got a nice bulk buy a week ago today, and it's found plenty of spicy cards that I did not know existed.
Okay.
This is a Shadowmoor Black Common, and I don't think it has any reprints. I'll double check that.
Shadowmoor Black Common.
Corrosive Mentor is an uncommon, right?
This is the reprinting of that card, and it spiked somewhat recently.
Somewhat recently.
By somewhat recently, I mean like this year.
Shadow
is it
add hybrid man?
This is mono black.
Yep. It is a mono black common.
Shadowmoor would have also had creature types, right? Poplar Shaman or something?
Is it just like the 2/1 Wither for 2?
Nope.
Is it a Tree Folk?
It is not a Tree Folk. I don't know if there were any Tree Folk tribal stuff in Shadowmoor.
I think there was.
There's like Tilling Tree Folk. I think that's Eventide. I don't know.
It might all be Eventide, yeah. I'm stumped.
There were definitely Tree Block. But that's so I was just trying to figure out if that might get us there, right? So there were fairies in that block as well. They're fairy. I'm trying to remember how Shadowmoor related to lore when. Sig ninja stuff, maybe.
This is a card that spiked because of a Baldur's Gate commander. Or is this Baldur's Gate? Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to know it.
Is it Cinderhaze Wretch?
It is Cinderhaze Wretch. This card spiked because of, or I'll read it first, I suppose. It is a 5-mana 3/2 creature. Tap, target player discards a card. Play this ability only during your own turn. It does not say sorcery speeds. You could do weird stuff with that. Put a -1/-1 counter on it to untap Cinderhaze Wretch. This does very silly things with Merkul, Lord of Bones, which is a legendary god. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, create a token that is a copy of that card, except it is an enchantment and nothing else. So that means -1/- counters do not matter anymore.
Ooh.
So it just makes all of your opponents discard their entire hands every turn on your turn.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah,
toxic.
that's pretty good. All right. Jason, what are you looking at? Let's hear it.
Got a white card originally in Conspiracy, Take the Crown. Uncommon.
Is it the extra votes guy?
3 printings.
The extra Vote guy was OG Conspiracy.
Ah, okay.
Palace Jailer is the obvious guess that I'll get out of the way.
Yep, it's Palace Jailer.
Okay, sure.
There you go. The legacy staple, except it's maybe not anymore because they made an even more broken legacy mechanic. I actually watched some of that Initiative Stompy deck in action recently, and just the turn 1 and turn 2s of that deck are it's pretty absurd. I'll say that.
I think the shtick with Palace Jailer is that you just play it with the initiative cards, and they're just great together.
Yeah.
It's gone down a lot. This card used to be like $5. Now it's down to like $1 because it's gotten some reprints, and I don't think it's as
It's not played as
anymore.
much. Yeah. Well, in Death and Tax, sort of, not entirely. Stompy deck. Yeah, that's where that comes in. All right, Cass. What are you looking at?
I have a white Kaldheim uncommon that has 2 reprints.
I'm not great with call time. It's got.
I didn't know this card existed.
Right?
Is
I
it
didn't
the
know this
one
card
that gets
existed.
bigger? The one that gets bigger or counter when my 6-year-old has been learning to play Magic on Arena against Sparky, computer opponent with an Angels deck.
It's got to be an angel, right?
It is not an
disc-
angel.
Oh.
I believe it is a human. Human cleric.
Is it the human that makes angels cost less?
You got it. Starheim Aspirant.
Sure,
That card's
there we
like
go.
the card's like $4 for the Kaldheim printing. I learned it exists because of Jumpstart 2022.
Yeah.
And I found out the Jumpstart printing is like $2. So
Yep.
Surprise money card from bulk.
Well, we'll see if you're able to guess mine because mine's coming from Kaldheim as well. But I think that this one would have something to do. A colorless uncommon from Kaldheim.
Is it a land?
No.
Colorless uncommon.
This is gonna
Like
be
a
like
changeling
the
artifact?
one out of... Just say artifact.
Is it like a changeling artifact?
It is.
I don't know any of those are changeling artifacts. I just figured it had to do with changelings.
This is gonna be like the one out of the past 7 that I'm not gonna be able to guess, and then he's gonna laud over that with like the next 5 episodes.
No,
It's
DJ.
not-
it's not-
I'll forget it. DJ, I'll forget by next week, and I'll just continue to call myself the best at this game.
That's just as bad.
I think the only uncommon artifact I can think of is a replicating ring.
Nope. It's a creature.
Is it the it's the plow?
Plow?
Colossal Plow?
Yeah, is that it?
Nope.
Or that's not a changeling card.
I'm ready to declare victory. What,
Bloodline
Jason?
Pretender.
Bloodline Pretender is the answer. It is a changeling 2/2/3 mana. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. When another creature of the chosen type enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Bloodline Pretender. So I assume this has many ways of becoming infinitely large.
Are you flagging this because it's 40 cents on TCG Player and it was printed in Jumpstart 2022?
This card is 90 cents on TZ.
It did just
Well, the
get
Jumpstart version is 40.
I will give it to him. This is a card that I will still pick, and I will probably list them at like 50 cents.
Well,
and
you won't pick it. Your robot will.
by the transitive property.
Bloodline Pretender is a quarter the card kingdom, right? 32 cents.
Okay.
We take
that
those.
matters. That's
Yeah,
what matters.
I'll give him the lowercase W on this one.
The lowercase W. Understood. Well, you know where you can get an uppercase W every time you visit is Coalesce Apparel, the place where we get all of our merch, our shirts, our amazing hoodies, where you can go get merch from all your favorite content creators throughout Magic. And if you use the gift code Brainstorm Brewery, you can get a discount on all of that and support us as well. So definitely go check out our sponsor. As always, shout out to Coalesce Apparel. So now,
I mean, like, I know everybody's gotten like so many gift cards over the past few weeks, and you can just sell them all. What do you need Dunkin' Donuts gift card for? You don't need it. What you
It's
do
just
need
Dunkin', bro.
is the equivalent, like what is it, $20 Dunkin' card you got? I think. Yeah, you can get that $17 cash from a Craigslist transaction instead, and then you can deposit that in the bank, and then spend that bank Skrilla on Coalesce, and you feel a lot better. Like that's so many gift cards you can just convert to cash through some number of sketchy Craigslist transactions, and then cash out with a shirt.
Good advice.
What do they call the donut holes at Dunkin'? The munchkins? What's the munchkin to Coalesce t-shirt ratio?
Good question. The more munchkins you eat, the more Coalesce t-shirt you'll need.
That is true.
Every time you just spend that Starbucks gift card, you're just going to insert more calories in your body, and you're going to increase the price of future Coalesce shirts. That's not a good thing. That's so much more money you're spending.
Excellent.
In fact, the only ideologically correct thing you can do is to sell all of your worldly possessions and buy Coalesce shirts.
That's what we call ethical consumption.
It's true.
As long as you're using the gift code, and if you're not using the gift code, then that's just the worst form of capitalism known to man.
Using the gift code is praxis.
I understood some of those words you all just said. I'll say that. That's where we're at.
Wait, is Praxis one of the new Pokemon? I didn't want spoilers for that game.
No, it's Praximon.
Listen, looking one more 2022 question before we move on to pick of the week. What of all the special releases, the numbered variants, blah blah blah, what of the wild promos that they tried out this year actually stood out to you? You know, what crossovers mattered? Is it Fortnite? Is it League of Legends? Is it?
I think.
Is it Transformers?
I think cards that are worth a 3 to 4 digit number are good for the game as variant printings. Is my summation answer. So like the reverse Viscera Seer, the Shattered Glass foils, the serial number artifacts, what was the one from the earlier? Oh, the Hidetsugu, the Neon Hidetsugu.
Yeah,
like, the fact that it was Hidetsugu is really dumb. I think it should have been Tamio, because that's a cool Phyrexian one of like the first Phyrexianized Planeswalker. That's so cool. The fact that it was Hidetsugu is stupid. But, like, if there's a Phyrexianized Jace that is $600 in the Phyrexia All-For-Me one, that is a good thing.
I think it's the serialized cards for me. I think those things are dope as hell. I own a couple of them myself, and I traded a lot of cards to get them, and I'm very happy I did so.
Yeah, I'd like to pick some up as well. For me, that's probably the thing that landed the most. Like, I haven't, not somebody who's excessively consumed Secret Lairs. I have some from trading or buying singles or whatever. But I've not really ever bought them on release. But yeah, I have to say the other stuff, the Universes Beyond stuff this year, I thought was a success, I have to say. Yeah. And Jason touched on it with Warhammers. Whether they clearly pushed the power level of the Warhammer stuff to make the Warhammer players come in and feel like they could compete with the Precon, because they were going to buy that Precon, and that was going to be their introduction. You had one shot with them.
Yeah.
So, the cards were pretty pushed, but it did accomplish that goal. I think probably better, at least from what I understand, both we saw the prices and how fast they sold out, and I think there was some talk about what printing they're on, that those were one of the most successful releases for Wizards this year, which just shows you how much power there is in them targeting Magic adjacent communities with hyper-focused products.
Like, clearly that anything we say is going to be somewhat anecdotal. None of us have hard data, but like I know several people who were just like, oh yeah, I'm a Transformers guy. This was my nostalgia batch growing up. Wait, Magic has Can you make an Optimus Prime deck? Like, can you do that? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, do I just need to buy a deck? Is it like a pre-constructed deck? Well, you can buy a pre-constructed deck and then swap out the commander for it. Oh, that's cool. Like, I'm gonna do that. Just so many of those for like Stranger Things or Transformers or
Lord of the Rings. I think
my brother-in-law is a big Godzilla fan, and he doesn't play Magic. He's never touched the game basically. He's like, oh, I just need one of every Godzilla card, man.
I think one of the biggest signs of success for the Universes Beyond stuff is I know multiple Magic players who are into Warhammer now because of it. One of my friends is building a Tyranid army, like as we speak.
I say that I learned more about Warhammer because of it. I've seen people play it before, and I'm not going to pretend to know the difference between 40K and any other tabletop game that looks similar. But I've always thought the concept of those games was interesting, and I learned a little bit about the story and setting of the universe of it as a result of these cards. So of this release. So I mean, hey, that's kind of a cool thing, right? And then obviously the D&D thing was probably the biggest crossover thing.
So we have Lord of the Rings coming out next year.
I'm super pumped for that.
I'm so excited.
Direct to modern, I believe.
Yep.
I'm terrified by that. I think that's just pure. I think that's a mistake.
Why do you think that's a mistake?
Well, if you look at the top cards,
I realize that Modern Horizons 2 is the entirety of modern, but like that's not a slight against that's not a slight against like a direct to modern set.
I don't know that I want Magic's premier format, which will be played with paper cards at the Pro Tour, I would assume, at some point in the next few years, to be dominated by Gandalf.
You don't want that I want that Kotaku article. I want that.
It's objectively funny if, like, there's an article on Kotaku about how someone won the Pro Tour by countering their opponent's Ragavan at an opportune moment with, like, second breakfast. And they untap with their Gandalf, and they comboed the Gandalf-Frodo combo to destroy the ring.
Yeah. That's
objectively funny.
It's...
Corbin, let the preconceptions fade away.
Listen,
let your boomer energy die.
I have some really heavily invested feelings in this, given my position on the Pro Tour. So I have to say that I just don't think that they mesh. I think that in Commander, it works.
Your suspension of disbelief ends with dinosaurs flying smugglers' copters. I understand.
I gotta say, I sort of agree with Corbin here. I think it's going to be really hard to blend like proper high fantasy with like some, slightly different elements with proper high fantasy with some slightly different elements. It's going to be really hard to blend those two things.
And just, to me, it's this idea of serving two different ends. Is your goal with this set to make Modern Horizons 3? Or is your goal of this set to do for Lord of the Rings fans what Warhammer 40K did for Warhammer fans? And what does that mean for a set that's direct to modern? Like, it's just a really weird experiment of placing a set like that. And listen, I thought the point of the Universes Beyond stuff was to keep it separate from the Universes Within stuff, which sort of constituted, competitively tested cards, so to speak. Although, I guess what's happening with Initiative Stompy and Legacy maybe shows that I should just let it go, maybe.
I'm kind of over the Universes Within stuff, like, already.
I don't like them.
The Stranger Things cards do not fit at all.
Yeah.
They were on Innistrad and they all have friends forever, so it's like all the weird amalgamations of different archetypes and like what's the word? Just like, I guess, factions on Innistrad having friends forever with like zombies and humans or whatever. And then like none of the cards are worth anything because they're in every set booster.
Yep.
And then like they just released the Street Fighter ones and none of them just feel right. It's like, oh, the Shoryuken one's so cool because it's got the untap symbol after you get it, and then it's like, okay, on a Magic card it looks stupid. It just doesn't feel...
Also, like, we don't have Universes Within for the first Universes Beyond thing. We don't have it for The Walking Dead. And I'm building a Winota CEDH deck right now, and one of the last cards I need is Rick Steadfast Mentor or whatever. And, like, what if I buy that card and the next day they just print a Universes Within thing? I'm going to feel like a jackass playing with that card.
I don't know what to say to any of that,
I
honestly,
think that
these are all just...
So my understanding of how the Universes Within stuff happened is that it was a sort of like a jumpy reaction to the community having a Twitter meltdown.
Yeah.
And that they were like, oh shit, you guys hate the Walking Dead thing? Oh shit, our bad. We'll print real ones. We'll print Magic ones. You like that? And then and then we got over it as a community, and like we're like Optimus Prime, and then they're like, we have to make a Magic Optimus Prime now.
I think they almost certainly contractually can't make universes within stuff for the Walking Dead stuff because it was made before.
Correct.
That's almost certainly
That's
why.
my belief. That's my
I think it's
belief
just
as
funny.
well. Yeah, it's something. It's 2022 was something, and 2023 is going to be something else entirely for Magic, and we're just all along.
I'm excited. I am very excited
Like
for
we
Magic
have been.
2023. I'm working an
I am
event
too.
every 2 weeks for the first like half of the year.
Yeah.
Like Philly is going to be huge. The Frixia All for One. We're going to see Tappy's going to be some sort of like insane like end boss Final Fantasy goddess coming out with smoke. It's going to be so fucking cool. Like there's going to be millions of there's going to be 10,000 plus people at the event if it's like as big as Vegas, and they said they're getting a bigger venue.
It's bigger.
So
The
like
450,000 square foot venue.
I am super excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a spectacle.
It's also of note. It is right across the street from the Reading Terminal Market, which makes me very happy. My favorite show I've ever worked was at that convention center, and every meal that we as a crew ate was from the market. Very nice.
It'll be a fun one, and you know what? It's only less than 2 months out now. Coming quick. Coming quick in February. So, all right. Well, before we get out of here this week, our last show of 2020, I can't talk. Our last show of 2022. It's time for Pick of the
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
Teleportation circle.
All right, Jason, kicking it off. Teleportation circle. What the hell does that card do?
It's like a white Conjurer's Closet.
Is this a repeat? I could be wrong, but I feel like this is a repeat.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it is a repeat of a month ago.
Okay. Well, I still believe in teleportation circle.
Okay, well. All right, DJ, what are you looking at this week?
I am looking at a card that was reprinted recently. Lyra Dawnbringer finally got a nice wall reprint, and she's down to like $6, $7, $8, down from her peak of close to 20. This card just sells consistently. It is the first Angel Lord, I believe, and it's Baneslayer with other words on it. It is fantastic. It is a forever seller. I mean, it used to be the Angel Commander. It's been replaced by Giada, which is fine, but it's still good. Like the people playing that deck are not selling the card; they're just putting it in the deck now. And
yeah, well, it also I think is danced around some 60 card playability as well.
I mean,
is it
pioneerable? Is Angels a real thing in Constructed?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's the old joke used to be that people would play one Baneslayer, one Lyra on their sideboard for like blue-eye control.
Sure. I am a big fan of this card at like the $5 that it has dropped to, and all picks nowadays in this era of reprints are asterisk at like if it doesn't get hit somewhere randomly.
Right.
But if it doesn't get hit somewhere randomly, I think it's back up to 10 or 15 in a year. This is the low point of this card for sure.
All right. My pick of the week, I pick Cyber Drive Awakener from Commander Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Card is about $10 right now. Actually, you can get copies for around $9. Direct low on the card, however, is $17, and it sells at that number. And when there's a big direct spread like that, be mindful that the card is probably going to creep up. The borderless version doesn't have as big of a premium, but it does still have a premium on direct. So this card's also just ridiculously powerful.
Too. Just like a month ago, this was 3, and it just had steady sales. And it's such a hard one to get in stock as like an actual.
Yep.
And like this card doesn't enter the market in quantity, I guess is the best way to put it.
No one rolls up to the booth with a brick, basically.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to follow up. Actually, I have one in the same vein as DJ's pick, but Bishop of Wings is an Angel adjacent card from M20. It's a rare. It's a 2-drop 1/4. Whenever an Angel is battlefield, you gain 4 life. whenever an angel you control dies, make a 1/1 spirit flyer. So this card is actually topped out at $8 before. It's fell back down to $5, and then it started climbing again. So I think that this is one that it's got no excessive reprints. It's a really powerful 2-drop. It doesn't die to a lot of the common removal spells you'll see. Bishop of Wings is something that has certainly hosed me on Arena plenty of times. And like I said, I believe that that's an up-and-coming deck in other formats. So that is it. So everybody, I think that does it for us here on 2022. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. We made it through another year. I think this was year 9 of the podcast, 500 plus episodes, and we're looking forward to 2023. Thank you for sharing it with us. We hope you had a great holidays. We'll see you next week.